Hey, how you doing, everybody? This is Matt from the Matt Knight Show. Now, yesterday, the House passed the Save America Act, right? It's just the latest of crazy acts coming from the Michael Myers administration. My bad. The Donald J. Trump administration. Sometimes I confuse them. Michael Myers, President Trump, they had kind of the same name, even kind of look alike, right? But this act obviously is going to change voter and specifically voter registration. So let's see Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, talking about it. So run the clip, Josh.
Majority of Americans who demand secure elections. Ensuring the integrity of elections is an essential issue. It's essential to maintaining our constitutional republic, and everybody in this country seems to understand and agree to that. This is about a 90-10 issue in the polling, because all that we've done tonight in this simple piece of legislation is apply common sense. All this Save America Act does is it enhances the SAVE Act, which you've already passed twice before, which says that you have to have proof of citizenship before you register to vote in federal elections. The law already provides for that, but we need to ensure that it's enforced. And the second part of it, what we added tonight and what is part of the Save America Act is the second piece, the very common sense requirement that you have a photo ID if you're going to vote. So that's it. That's what the bill does. Proof of citizenship and photo ID to vote. Everyone in the country understands the necessity of that, understands how simple it is and how important it is. And the only people that oppose it are people who want to cheat our system, who want to participate in our elections illegally, unlawfully.
I'm going to tell you why this is dangerous. Anytime you have a politician gets in front of you and he talks about common sense, that means that they're doing something that is probably not constitutional. It's weird, right? Would you ever go to court and your lawyer has a common sense argument? You're going to go to jail, bro. you are going to jail. Hey, what's your defense? Common sense said he couldn't do it. Or getting in front of the judge.
Give me a hell yeah.
They're gonna lock your behind up, man. So they're talking about this, but let's really talk about the details, right? The devil, the devil, you know what I'm saying, is lurking. You know what I'm saying? The Trump administration, this is the Michael Myers / Trump administration. So you know the details are crazy. So let's look into what this Save America Act really says, which I really think is the Save My Ass Act. So the bill not only requires proof of citizenship, but also proof of residence in order to register. This could block even more Americans from voting. Roughly 9% of the population has moved within the state in the past year, but many will not update their driver's license until they expire, right? So if you're moving, right, they're like, hey, you can't register because you're in a new state. Second, the bill will require photo ID to vote, providing a narrow list of acceptable IDs more restrictive than the voter ID laws in every state but Ohio. For example, the bill prohibits the use of student IDs, even though it's issued by state universities, and accepts tribal IDs only within the expiration date, even though many tribal IDs do not contain them. Third, the legislation would mandate voter roll purges every 30 days, placing enormous burdens on election officials and ending the 90-day quiet period that protects voters from being mistakenly thrown off the rolls right before election day. Now, that is the key thing. They want to purge these voters, man. They want to purge them. They want to make it more difficult for people to vote and purge people off these voting from voting. So when you go in, like, hey, you're not registered to vote, we purge you off the list. Fourth, the bill will prohibit universal mail voting, requiring all mail voters to submit an application in order to receive a mail ballot. This will end the longstanding principal method of voting in 8 states and Washington, D.C., right? So I think what they did is that they looked at it and said, hey, we looked at the numbers. We see how we lose to a lot of the Democrats in these elections. They have a lot of mail-in voters voting. So they're trying to cut these voters from the margin so they can win the midterms, right? And potentially stay in power. And that's why I call it the Save My Ass Act, right? Because these Republicans are trying to save their own ass. They know that Trump is very unpopular, right? So so they're out here doing whatever they can to maintain power. But it's one more thing, man. One more thing. And what could that thing be? Let's think about it. I know what it is. They probably want that data. Let's look into it. This is key. The other new SAFE Act bill, this is the biggest thing. The SAFE Act America Act also comes with its own add-ons. The Senate's version of the SAFE Act America Act not only requires voters to show documents such as passport or birth certificate to register, it requires them to do so again when they cast the ballot. So you got to constantly show the stuff. Unless their state has been regularly handing over its voter rolls to the Department of Homeland Security since June of 2025 for comparison with the agency's citizenship verification tool. Meanwhile, the latest House version of the SAFE America Act takes a different approach by simply directing states to run their voter rolls through the DHS SAVE program. So people don't know this, but when the Trump administration was trying to negotiate getting ICE out of there, they said, hey, Governor Walz, we'll leave your state, but hand us over your voter rolls, right? This is a way for them to get access to those voting rolls that, remember, Trump, it's a fraudulent election, it's a fraudulent election. He wanted access to those voting rolls, right? This is a step to federalize elections. That's what it is, man. When it comes to these GOP Republicans, especially under the Michael Myers administration, man. You're killing me, man. That's they're killing me, man. And I think this is what's going to end up happening. They're going to do these different things. And like I said, Trump is, to me, like watching an episode of Pinky and the Brain. Like, why do I say that, right? Every time you watch Pinky and the Brain, he always has some type of scheme and it sounds good. Even midway through the show, they actually accomplish it. But by the end of the episode, what are they doing? Land right back in that damn cage, trying to come up with their next plot. So even though it sounds terrible and I think they're making a lot of damage, right? There's something that's going to go wrong. It always happens with Trump. Something's going to go wrong, right? They may actually underestimate, how fast some of these Democratic states can turn it around. And they might be downplaying how unpopular they are because you can't just blame Biden and change the laws and think that you're going to stay in power, right? So I'm going to keep you up to date. We're going to keep you up to date with this. And like I said, we are pushing back against the Michael Myers, the Donald J. Trump administration. So take care, everybody. Have a good rest of your day. Oh, and make sure you do those 3 things, man. Make sure you share, like, and subscribe. Take care.